Hello.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind, Body, and Soul television show. I am your host, Coach Steve Toet, and also the founder of Conscious Evolution Media. And we have a wonderful guest with us this evening, which we're going to talk about who she is in just a moment. But just want to remind everybody that we are live on YouTube Live, as well as Google Hangouts and ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. And the theme for the show this evening is, how can you be the best you can be? And I can't think of a better person to explore that with than Ramy Singh. She's an intuitive coach and many other things, and she's joining us from England. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. It is an honor to be able to share my knowledge and experience, and I'm grateful you started this wonderful media, and I can be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you. And of course, this will be no different than any other show. So my first question is, if I take away all of those titles that I just mentioned, well, I just mentioned one, intuitive coach, but you have many other titles, many other things that you do, and anybody that has ever called you either a mother, a friend, an associate, any titles that anybody has ever given you, if I take all those away and strip them all, what's left? Who is really Ramy Singh?
Very good question. And
it's the only way to start the show.
It is indeed, and I know you do start your show, but I think spirit, having this experience and trying to find myself while helping others. That's the only thing I can think of ever since I remember, even at 2-3-year-old.
All right, awesome. All right, well, that was a fantastic answer as well. So you do so many things, I don't even know where to begin. But there's one thing out of all those things that you do. So you have a lot of tools in your toolbox in terms of different modalities that would help people to become the best that they could be. I actually probably where I want to start is in your experience, which modality that you have worked with that seems to be the most sticky, the most successful with people in general?
Do you know, it's so funny you ask that question. Almost everyone, any of my clients or students, I think in the last 10 years have asked me which is my favorite modality of healing. Almost everyone, 99.9%, I would say I like to see change instantly, always. I like to see it within 10-15 minutes onwards for any issue that anyone has come to me for, even first time. So being aware that you can create that change in blink of an eye, I wanted to see, faster results. Answer to that question, everybody is a soul, spirit, a consciousness, and their energy is so different, very different. If I'm treating a 3-month-old infant or a 65 or 75-year-old person with some ailment, of course it's going to be different. And the issues are different. And I like to use what would work best for that person at that time. And that varies. So which is my favorite? I would say...
No, I wasn't asking what was your favorite. I was asking really what is the favorite modality of your clients?
My clients.
Which modality is the one that gets the most results? The other way, a different way of saying it.
Which gets the most results? Again, it depends. Everybody is so different. I've had, people's insomnia disappear in 15 minutes from TFT, and they would have had insomnia for 8 years and chronic pain, wheelchair bound for 6, 7, 8 years. I've had that within 3 sessions, completely gone. But the change in 10-15 minutes from TFT and from Soul clearing, I have always seen amazing results, but you cannot predict those results. So my clients who have had any of these things done, um, they can say that yes, I think they'll be divided. Which one works best? I think so.
Okay. Okay. Um, boy, you would be a good politician.
In fact, I'm too straightforward to be a politician.
Well, that was one of those where, uh, I gave you a very simple question, and the answer was pretty complicated. All right, but that's
I
okay.
try to make it as simple, but over the years, seen hundreds and hundreds of people, different age groups, different issues. I can't comment what they would say would work best for them. I try to do my best, and I can only say what I think would work, and has worked.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right, so out of all the things that I saw on your website, there's the thought field therapy, voice technology, the intuitive coach, the counselor, the hypnotherapist, the Reiki master. There's a list of things that you've been involved in, and I'm sure this all came from your journey of you know diving into these tools yourself. Uh, the one that jumps out at me, and this doesn't come up actually very often on the network in the last 10 years. The soul clearings, the akashic records, that jumps out to me. I continue to be quite fascinated by that. So could you share with our viewers how do you actually get access to the akashic
Akashic
records, and
records.
maybe even explain what it is, because some people that are watching may not even know.
Sure, sure. Akashic, well, two questions you asked me. How do you get access to it? I was born quite clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, quite gifted. I could see from the time I was 2, 3, quite a few things I always knew. Like I'll be digressing if I go into something else, but with those gifts, and then being pushed into academics and schools and living in 8 different countries, growing up in all around the world, and then um, all these gifts got pushed to the background till I felt quite ill. And that healing crisis was like a bump that pushed me right back into that gift I came here with, gift and the ability to be able to see energies, to be able to read energies. And I was on the path, and I had done Reiki, and I was studying as well in university. I'd done journalism and broadcast, and psychology, and um, when I was, when I fell ill, and I was already learning, healing myself, and then I studied kinesiology, all these things, and I thought nothing is really fully moving the energy, and I realized I needed to go more deeper. I think when you're searching, and it had to come back to claim the gifts I came here with. I met quite a few different people who were clairvoyant, who were mediums, and they didn't teach me, but I think just I lived 5 minutes away from College of Psychic Studies in London, so being in that environment, just going there 2, 3 times, it just brought back so many things. Um, and from there, when, well, these things I would say very much self-taught. Then few teachers around the world, but I can't say I use their method fully, because for me it's very easy to access looking at a person's energy, their date of birth. I don't do any birth charts or anything, but it's very easy to see that, look, these are the reasons when I give a soul reading, that this is the purpose you came here with, and these are the limitations and blocks you brought, and these are the corrections you need to make, and these are Some things you came to repair, some things you must do. That's very easy for me to read. How do I access it? Quite intuitively. It just dumps in my head like it used to when I was 4 or 5 year old. Things would just be there in front of my eyes, like if I would see somebody. It'll be in their energy field, right in the person's energy field. All the words and pictures I would know. Let's say somebody I'm meeting for the first time as a child, and I would just know things about them. Same way, I don't have to see people face to face. I just know when I start working on them that this is the reason they came here in this lifetime. This is the lots of corrections to be made. These are the blocks that they have brought forward. One of the teachers I learned taught it by going quite a few different methods of using charts. I don't do that anymore. Even at that time, I didn't do it. You can find many, many, many things using those charts, but is that clear, or am I?
Well, we're gonna make it clearer because I'm gonna make a request to see if you would be willing to uh, do a reading with me from the akashic record.
I wish I could.
Okay.
I wish I could, because I don't know your date of birth, and I would need to go in stillness and completely. Then I would have done that.
Well, I can give you my date of birth. It's no secret.
And if you want to do
Well,
it after the show, I'm happy to do it. But
okay,
I
but
think my
but,
main
but you,
purpose
you don't you don't want to do it on the show?
on the show, because I'll tell you, I have never ever done anything but a full clearing. Never ever done. So I start by doing very thorough, full clearing. And I don't like to sit in the middle of it.
Huh.
After a full clearing, if somebody wants to do, top ups, and that's needed. I do mine regularly. That's always needed. That's different. But I have never been in the middle of a full clearing. And if I start giving you a soul reading, I won't just give you a reading. I'll actually be working on clearing you immediately.
Mm.
And I think that would completely take the time of the show. I would really be doing the clearing as well, not
Okay.
just reading. Because if I see something, and when I'm usually shown things, one thing after the other, my purpose is not just to give you a reading clairvoyantly. My purpose is to clear those blocks that I'm seeing. My purpose is actually to, I think that is the only purpose, yeah. Otherwise, for me, reading doesn't do much. Anyone could be doing a reading, but if you are seeing certain blocks, which you do, start immediately. You
Mm.
start removing them. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said I'd love to, but I'll be in the middle of reading and clearing you.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that feels like or looks like. So, yeah.
Everyone, if there's somebody face to face in front of me, they always say it just changes. My face changes, and yes, every single thing. If I'm speaking at that time, yeah, it does.
Well, but that would be so cool on television. You talk about reality television. This is it.
It would be, but I wouldn't want the entities who would come to help clear you,
Uh,
Steve. I
uh,
wouldn't want all that right in the middle of it.
okay. Okay. Well, I'll take your lead. That's fine. All right.
I
So
would love to do it. Huh?
pick a different modality. No, I just thought that might be fascinating to have the
But I've
viewers
never done
see.
that for 5, 10 minutes. I do a full one, however long it takes. So
Okay. Not a problem. All right. So pick another modality. Whatever modality you would like to pick that we can demonstrate.
that we can demonstrate. Well, we can demonstrate TFT, we can demonstrate. What I wanted to tell is, we were talking about soul clearing. You've interviewed many, many, many people. And what is one thing, if I was to ask you, that everyone is looking for? Tell me.
Well, everyone is looking for, all the people that I interviewed, they all looking for, in some ways or form, to make a difference in the
Okay,
world.
and the people,
To, you know,
and
what mostly everybody is about being pretty clear about some gift that they have, and they want to offer it up to the world to make a difference. That's very common.
and what about everybody else on the planet? Everyone. What is one thing that everybody is looking for?
Oh, that's easy.
What?
Love. They look.
Love?
Everybody's looking for love.
You think?
I don't think I know.
Love? So you,
Love and joy and their ability to just be in the world and don't be at the effect of the world, but to be of the world.
I hear you. I think it's that joy, happiness is what everybody's looking for because love doesn't guarantee that they will have that happiness. Success doesn't mean that they would have that happiness. Otherwise, everybody who's mega successful would be feeling happy. And
Yeah.
it's the
Well,
happiness.
if I may, I'm going to be respectfully disagree with you. Okay.
Yes, that's
What,
fine.
what I have proven to myself is I got to a place with myself where I love myself 100%, and including what I don't love about myself, I love about myself. And what what this got me is that I don't need to have a definition of success, because the definition of success for most people, it's either money or possessions that they have.
Mhm.
Um, my happiness and joy does not depend on any of those things, and I am happy, joyful, complete, and full, and just as I am right now. There's nothing I need to complete. There's nowhere I need to be. Nowhere else I need to go. No list that I need to complete to be 100% loving towards myself and loving towards other people. This is it.
Okay. And you would
This is as
say
good
that
as it gets.
you would say you're happy,
Yes.
but you're
Yes. Yeah.
looking for love.
Oh, I'm giving it to myself. I don't have somebody else to give it to, and I'm giving it to the world. But I'm not in an intimate relationship right now. But that's okay with me. I'm fine with that.
Yes, no, love doesn't mean an intimate relationship only.
Yeah, of course not.
Of
Yeah,
course not.
so I give myself all the love I'm capable of giving myself. That's it.
Okay, that is good. Yes. What I found is that one thing everybody's looking for, that state of happiness, not just peace, but happiness. And in everybody, um, there was there are fears. Everybody, there are fears that creates blocks, that creates limitation. I've yet to find somebody who doesn't have it.
well, well, guess what? You just met somebody, and I'm not going to tell you that I live 100% without fear, because
Mm.
once in a great while it comes back in.
I know that's what I said.
But I know when it comes back in, and I know what to do to make it go away.
You can keep it in check. That's what I mean.
Hmm.
You know, same thing. Anybody who is becoming aware, more self-aware, they self-evaluate. I do regularly, every day, quite a few times a day, and they would be more aware, so they can keep it in check. But doesn't mean that the fears don't pop up, because that does, as you admitted, it does. So
Yes.
everyone has that on some
But
level or
but
another.
but the good news, from my point of view, is that it's popping up less and less.
Correct. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens. Yeah. So,
Oh my God, I
um,
remember when I used to live in fear all the time.
and That's what I mean. That because you become more introspective and more self-aware, you keep it in check, and exactly that. So, well, good. But my point as a healer, healer, educator, um, is that your body is going to reflect the state of your spirit. Always, always. That's why I said, what is one thing everybody's looking for? And what is one thing I found everybody has to work through? Major one is fears. Fear doesn't even mean, um, I could give hundreds of examples, but I don't want to give people's example. Some people don't even think they have any fear because they think they are so successful and everything is wonderful in their life. But there is a fear somewhere. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I understand, and I actually know those type of people that you're referring to. Um, they they kind of like to be in a state of mind where they are always positive, and they actually cannot deal with negativity. And I don't know, something I learned about me is that I'm not trying to pretend that negativity doesn't exist in my life, because it does. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't have problems in life, because I do. But a lot of people, unfortunately, in our in our industry, which is the self-development, the personal development industry, likes to come across, especially on television, that they just live a very, very positive life, and they don't have any problems, and they don't have any fears, and
That's not possible. See,
they
that's
just they are just always in joy and beauty, and they're just floating, on the top of the earth, and everything is cool. Well, I know that's not true.
that's not possible either. That's not possible either.
But I also know that I can't talk them out of it, because they're attached to the way they are.
Anyway, that's speaking for them.
Hmm. I tried to talk them out of it before, but it's not going anywhere.
I think the way I grew up in a family, and the way I was put there, or I chose to be put there, born there, I learned I never try to tell people what to do until unless they ask me. Never. You can't drag. I have parents dragging their children to see me, whether it's a 12-year-old or a 30-year-old. I always tell them, no, you can't, please. That's not, there is no way. If somebody's not asking for help or any change or assistance, you can't. I just keep quiet and observe.
Okay.
So, what I wanted to say is, as I said, your physical body, I'm very concerned that people don't realize how that everything that is affecting them, whether the ancestral issues, whether it's generational, whether it's stress in this lifetime, even if they're forgotten, whether it's in utero, all that, and I have seen thousands like that. It is there. It is there in every single person. It is there in the DNA. It is there in the energy fields, emotional body, mental body. That needs to be addressed. If I could really tell people how important it is to be aware of one thing, their words. Very, very, very important. Um, Exceptionally, the words, the thoughts you think, and what you say, very important, because anything that you think is going to have a tangible form sooner or later. Anything that you think, anything that you feel will manifest in your life. These days a lot of people are going around with the law of attraction, right?
Oh yeah, that's been going on for years.
Correct, and that is there in ancient texts as well. So it has been known to people 7, 10,000 years ago. Um, I'm the first one to say it works all the time, just like law of gravity. It works all the time, but it is never going to work, ever going to work till you have found out what is in your subconscious and what is holding you back, because everything otherwise you're running on autopilot. Everything comes from your subconscious mind. Consciously you could be doing law of attraction. I have a lot of these. Over the years I've had many people come to me because there's lots of law of attraction coaches, and some things they can manifest, others they cannot. And I've always had to tell them that, look, there is a fate everyone has. There is a destiny. Yes, you can change your destiny. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, you can change it. But again, within the
The
parameters.
only time, the only time I think you can't change it, if you continue to be on automatic pilot.
If you can't change it, you mean that's the only time you can't change destiny?
Right. If you don't get off automatic pilot,
Right.
you have a destiny, and that's what you're going to get.
Correct, absolutely correct. But you can change destiny if you become more self-aware and you go deeper into your subconscious to find out what limitations you have. That is very, very, very important, because people think, as a counselor, as a coach, I've seen numerous people who go to other coaches, and this is a small industry. So you would often hear that they've had these sessions with somebody, and then they come back to me. I have to always say, absolutely straightforwardly, that look, this is how, where they are, where I see them, this is how I can help them. So law of attraction would work only if you are ready to delve deep down in your subconscious and find out why you are not manifesting things you are not able to manifest. Secondly, and if it's within the alignment of what you came here to do. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So these two things.
So what are the tools that you use to get that deep into the
What are
subconscious
the
mind?
tools that I use to get that deep? Again,
It depends on
intuitively.
who you.
It depends on the person, but again, very intuitively. It's a reading, but I also, as I
Okay,
said, don't.
so if it would be me, what are the tools that you would use with me? How do you know? How do you find out?
The information is just in front of me, and I'm not kidding. It's the written words. It's right
Okay,
on
well,
my.
share it with yours right now. What's in front of you when it
What
comes?
as I said, I start. I start by finding the date of birth, and then I link in. I ask guides to come forward,
Oh,
and I've never
okay,
just
so
done
that's
a
that's
5, 10 minute reading. I am not a
and
reader who's going to sit for 5, 10 minutes.
we're back to the soul clearing. Okay.
It is part of it. It is part of it, definitely. It is part
Okay.
of it. I can't say that I can separate that from one or the other, but it is part of
I'm
it.
just trying to figure out how you work so that
How
you
I
know
work, because
we're
I've
doing a
been
television
through.
show and people are going to be watching this and they're going to want to know, okay, so what is
I
this
do.
woman all about? Because she is very, very attractive and she has a very soft voice. And a lot of people I would say would be attracted to you, not just because of your looks, but because of your energy. And they would want to know, well, how would she work with me? So I'm trying to find out if we can shed some light on how you work with people.
I wish I could tell it easier. If I really wish. I wish. Yes, I'm
Okay.
academically trained. I'm certified in 15 different modalities. Plus, I've learned with dozen other people uh, without certification around the world. So, academically, plus my own gifts. So, if I was to say, um, I just do soul clearings or readings, that's incorrect, because I don't. I look at the person, at their needs and what would help them the quickest. Sometimes, as much as I like to do soul clearings on every single person, I would. I think everybody needs it. I do think so. And at least once in their lifetime, a full one, they do need it. And yet, I would not push that on somebody. If they want a session of TFT, just that, for any issue, that's what I've done because I think that would help, and it does. So, give me an example of what ailment, an issue, and let's say there's many athletes, many athletes I worked with over the years. They didn't know about soul clearing when they came to clinic, but I used TFT on them for a few different things. Few actors and quite well-known businessmen, and it depends on what the issue is. It depends.
Okay.
Am I making myself clear?
Very.
I don't know if I am, but
Well, you made a request of me prior to the show that we were talking. I think it was yesterday or no, a couple of days ago, that you wanted to demonstrate something. So, what would you like to demonstrate?
okay. Demonstrate. You thought it was reading. No, I wish I could, because I don't just give readings. You know, before I do clearing, I do invoke help because without it, and I would be aware of, I would link in with my higher self, your higher self, out of the body awareness rather than in the body awareness, and that's why I wasn't doing the soul clearing on the show because it's
Okay. Well, but this is good. We're explaining it.
yes, because you know in this body awareness, I absolutely am not in that state when I'm doing the clearing.
Okay, great. So that's great because now we're explaining it to the viewers that the reason why we're not doing one of those examples of soul clearing is because you're not even in your body when you're doing it. So,
Um,
you know,
well, I am roaming around.
so
I think that's the
understandable
claim.
why you would not want to do it on television because, you know, who knows what's going to happen. So,
And also, as I said, my main thing is I start looking at things within 2 minutes, I start clearing them. That is my objective, not just to see things. So when you start clearing something in 2, 3, 4 minutes and you're clearing one thing after the other, and I'm actually doing the work for you with the help that I have around for
yeah.
you. You know, how do you cut off from that and say, okay, I've done it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to demonstrate?
Oh,
No, cannot do that.
okay, that's fine.
So,
I hardly ever give up
okay.
those. You have to know this about me. So we could do another show if you like, where we
Oh
just do
yes,
that, and you just don't worry about all
no,
the
then
mechanics.
absolutely, you would, you can do that. I don't see people now when I'm doing soul clearing.
Let me worry about that. You know how long it takes, and you know you have as much. I'll give you as much time as it takes.
Oh gosh, do you know anywhere? The longest was 6.5 hours. The minimum was hour and a half.
Okay,
So
well
anywhere from there to yes,
we can do that. It's all doable.
few hours.
Absolutely. We're in the 21st century. Yeah.
Okay.
Hours don't even mean anything to me. I don't use time in that sense. So I'm just looking for the experience of it, and I really don't care what that means in Earth time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, all right. We can come to that.
It's up to you. I'm just providing that as a possibility. You never know. You know, maybe
Um,
we're doing something that nobody has ever done before. Those are the things I actually enjoy. I actually
That
enjoy
actually, I
asking.
don't think anybody would have ever done because, as I said, you start by invoking help and then you start doing it. Oh,
Yeah, and you just don't worry about the fact
and
that you're on
I would,
television. You just let that
and
go,
you know
and you
what?
just
I
do it.
always tell the people, I've taught clearing over the years to quite a few people. And when I've taught, I've always said it's not the quantity, it is the quality of work you're
Mhm.
doing that matters. So quality matters. So be very focused, concentrate, and trust me, it is something you have to be focused on.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So,
So all I'm saying is I'll take away the concern of time. You know, it,
okay. And
just
what
remove it.
about? Okay. I've never. Funny. When I was younger, well, a few years ago, when I started, then I did it in front of some people. I told them they could wait for me. They can see how I'm doing it. I don't mind, but if they can be quiet or just take notes. Now I don't do it. It's been quite a few years. I don't need to do soul reading or clearing face to face. I don't ever need to have seen that person. And that works better, maybe because my concentration is so much better.
Gotcha.
And I'm focused.
Yeah.
So,
And I just want to remind you that our theme is how can you be the best you can be?
okay, how can you be the best you can be? I would,
Mhm.
thanks for that reminder. I think,
Yes, it was addressed to you.
I think being more introspective, definitely. Because
Mhm.
without being introspective, without self evaluation, almost every single day, I do it quite a few times a day, I couldn't live without it. I have to see where I am, where my energy is. Um, I do have to. I do. Otherwise, I can feel it inside, the build up, or, you know, we Okay, if I could tell people one single thing, very important, I'm sure you've heard it before from people, you must cleanse your energy every day. You must make sure that you are protected. I don't watch television, I haven't in years. I love watching films, that's different. But any influence outside, what imprints are you getting in your energy fields?
Mm.
So, how you can be the best is to be aware of where your energy is at this moment, how it's being affected, and learn some tools to change it. I'm happy to give some pointers right now, shall I?
Sure.
Okay, one of the things I found, when I learned TFT to the highest level from Dr. Roger Callahan, who's passed away last year in November, that he was a wonderful, beautiful, humble, very knowledgeable man. He was a clinical psychologist and started TFT. You're aware all the tapping in the world came from him,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
EFT came from TFT. Anyway, so TFT to the highest level is quite advanced, very advanced tool, and he taught me to use, HRV, which is heart rate variability, to detect the changes in your heart rate, and we would monitor a person before the session and even after 5 minutes of a session, just 5 minutes, even less sometimes, and monitor their heart rate variability. It changed drastically. Drastically. And this was the fun bit because, this was proof right there that tapping on certain points does work, does shift you. So, one of the things, heart rate variability is one of the most important tools in the last 30 years people have discovered to find out how their autonomic nervous system is, which is their stress control system in the body. So if your autonomic nervous system is not in balance, then you are definitely going to have blockages of energy. That's a given. And um, I'll give one example. Of all the tapping areas, it's all individual in TFT, unlike EFT where you have the generic tapping points. TFT is very specific. But one thing that I tested again and again and again and found out is psychological reversals. That happens in everybody throughout the day, all the time, without being consciously aware. Psychological reversal is a state. Let's say somebody is affirming, for example, the affirmations. Do you think they work? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Affirmations?
Uh-huh.
I think they work if people believe it.
I would say they work only if their subconscious believes it. Yes. Not their conscious self, but their subconscious. And consciously, they could be affirming all day, every day, the same thing, that they are healthy, um, that they are in this state, they want it. But if the subconscious is not believing it, it's not going to happen ever. Same thing with the manifestation. If it's not in alignment with your life purpose, not going to happen. Or if it's not in alignment with where your energies are, not going to happen. So affirmations won't work. But one thing that cuts through psychological reversals. Let's say you keep saying, I want to be healthy, I want to be completely healthy, and I want to be rid of this backache, I want to um, have this. Okay, would not work till your subconscious believes. The easiest way I found, I'll tell you, um, secret, or call it what Dr. Callahan's favorite thing was, psychological reversals. It's this point right here. Do you see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In schools, I have taught children because I find it very fascinating. You don't have to give them the detail of it, just tell them to do karate chop like this. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing that, they're hitting this point again and again and repeat certain things and affirm. So if you want to say, I want to be healthy, and you keep looking in the mirror or keep thinking, visualizing, I want to be healthy, not going to have the same effect because subconsciously you'll be blocked. But if you tap here 20 times, 25 times, and repeat the same thing, it corrects your reversal immediately. Immediately. Anyone's and everyone's. But again, you have to be aligned to figure out how often you go in reversals and what brings those reversals in your body. Because, you're an energy field, so you're definitely attracting quite a lot of world energies throughout the day. All I can say is do this for anything. If you want to cut through the conscious self and go to the subconscious, do this. Tap here and say, I want to be healthy. I will be completely healthy. I am completely healthy. These three phases: I want to be, I will be, I am completely. Then for anything else you want to affirm, do this. I want to be this. I will be, I am this. Add it. It would work. It always does without fail. Um, so that's one tip.
And how long does somebody have to do that?
Oh gosh, again, everybody's energy field is different. As I said, this is correcting through that dusty, your conscious self is only aware less than 2%, right? The rest is your subconscious. You're running on your subconscious autopilot, 98%. They say 10 to 12% is your conscious self. I disagree. I think it's barely 1 to 2%. So throughout the day, you don't know what imprints are running you all the time and what energies you're picking up from the world as well. And it'll be impossible to predict because it'll be different for one person to the other, how often they're going in psychological reversals. It could be in 5 minutes, it could be in 5 hours, it could be, but it will be, you will need to do it a few times a day anyway. Yes, for anything. But you cannot predict. Till I know the person, if I'm not working with them, and I don't like giving a generic response. So.
Mm.
But that'll cut through your conscious self and go to your subconscious very quickly.
Interesting.
And,
Okay.
also, I wanted to tell if people can pay attention to, uh, as I said, words very, very,
So
very.
hang on for a minute. Hang on for a minute. I'm still over there. What you just shared. Okay. So I'm just trying to understand something. So how much of so I understand the tapping and I understand your instructions about saying I want to be
I want to
healthy.
be
I am
healthy.
ha-
I want to be
I want to
slim.
be
Let's
healthy.
say I want
Okay,
to
let's
be.
say I want to be slim. I I will be slim and I am
I
slim.
am. Yes,
Okay.
there is a difference. Your subconscious, it's in different steps.
No, I get it. I get it. Okay. So you keep doing that. So but here's the thing. So what is the fact that what we put in our mouth through food, what is that has to do? How is that connected to the tapping into the subconscious mind? Because I believe that the type of food people put in their body has a lot to do with their health and maybe even how slim they are.
You do believe that?
Yes, yes, I do, because I've proven it to myself.
I hear you, but then
I'm
you'll be
speaking
shocked
from
when
personal experience. I'm not speaking from books or from CDs or from videos. I actually did this myself.
I
It
hear
changed
you.
my entire way of eating,
Mm,
and it made a huge difference. Not only did it make a huge difference, it cured me from diabetes.
I hear you. Type 2
And I'm
diabetes.
not saying that that's not possible with tapping. I'm just saying what's the connection? Because I can keep tapping, and are you saying that if I keep tapping,
No,
my
you're
subconscious
not going to be
mind?
cured of diabetes just by tapping. No, no. No, it is not a cure for
But
diabetes.
but
I never said.
let me just go there a step further. Okay, so are we saying that by doing this, I'm changing the programming in my subconscious mind?
Correct.
I'm
Immediately.
actually shifting things around, meaning
Immediately.
that whatever the connections are made in my subconscious mind from before, they are being changed. And if
Mhm,
they're being changed, then that's going to change consciously what I'm going to do
mhm.
in the future, doesn't it?
Um, it may not consciously change your diet, eating habits,
Let me put it a different way. Okay, let me put it a different way. Okay, so here's the person today. The person today is going to McDonald's in the morning to have breakfast. He's going to Burger King for lunch, and at night he's going into a Italian restaurant and eat spaghetti. Okay,
Mm,
so with a person like that, and he's going to do his every day. He's just going to go to a different fast food place, but the story is the same every day. He's going to go to two fast food restaurants and one some kind of a dinner, but you can pretty much bet it's not going to be healthy. So
mm,
with that kind of a person, we can pretty much predict that. I mean, the outcome is predictable. He's going to be overweight, and at some point he's going to get diabetes because he's eating all kinds of garbage and probably tons of sugar in his diet, whatever. So help me understand, if I'm tapping that I'm going to be healthy, I will be healthy and I am healthy. If I keep doing that,
mhm,
how is that going to change my habits of this person that's going to two
mm.
uh, fast food restaurants a day and one other restaurant for dinner, but they all unhealthy? How is that going to change? the person's habits, everyday habits.
Firstly, I didn't have anybody like that in mind when I was giving that example of
Oh,
clear
that's okay. I'm
psychological reversal, but good point.
well, that's okay. This is the example I came up with.
Yes, okay. So,
Why?
does,
Because there are 100 million Americans that are doing this every
yes,
day. That's
I
why.
hear you and I see that. So, does that person, my point and my question, does that person or those people, do they want to give up the habit? Because that's the first thing I would ask them. As I said, I don't believe in dragging people for treatment.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. This person that I was referring to, all of a sudden had a heart attack, and he's in the operating table, and all of a sudden he says to himself, "Oh my God, what have I been doing to myself? Um, I promise God, just this one time, get me out of this operating room. Let me survive this heart attack. And I promise to you and to myself that I'm going to change. And how I'm going to change is I'm going to go see this person I know. Her name is Ramy Singh, and I'm going to let her teach me how to do this tapping. So that will be the beginning of my journey for a new me."
And may I say something? I wouldn't start
Sure.
with tapping. I would do soul
Sure.
clearing on him. I
That's
wouldn't.
fine. That's fine. I'm
Because
just
it's
giving
that
you this
stage.
example.
Yes. Because it's that stage where I would need to. It's not just for one issue.
Yeah, so what I'm communicating with you is the person, something happened to the person, right? Some drastic thing, like a 2x4, has been
Mm.
applied, and he just awake. He's awake now. He's awake, and he can see what he's been doing to himself, and he's ready for change.
Mm. So, and your question is, how would tapping help him?
My question is, well, since we were talking about tapping, but I know that you don't like to be hypothetical, but somehow on this show we're going to have to be hypothetical because that's just what we're gonna have to do because you can't do it with me. So we have to be hypothetical. So this person is ready for change. He's
Hmm.
asking for change. So how is any of these modalities are going to help this guy to put
What
him
does he
into
want to change? His whole entire lifestyle.
he wants to change. He wants to begin with changing his eating habits because he can now see that if he doesn't change,
Mm.
he won't be living for very long. Is that motivation enough?
Okay. Then, as I said, I would take him through the steps that come up for him in TFT, the particular sequence. You know, everybody has a sequence. It's not just, as I said, EFT, which is generic tapping sequence. TFT is and TFT voice technology, which I'm trained in, that's the highest level. You have to diagnose at that time the person where they are with the energy field, and that changes. That changes even for the same issue in few hours, definitely the next day. But for that time, whatever comes up for them, I would tell them if they have, let's say, I had a wonderful, very famous chef. She loved desserts, sweet things, and she, she had her own restaurants, establishments. She still does, but this craving for sweet things was there always, and she could try to not have that at home. But one day I said, okay, just call me from your restaurant when you are there, okay? Because she couldn't help tasting all the wonderful desserts. And she did. So the sequence that came up, or what came up, was different for her at that time. And then I told her, just stick with that. Anytime you have a craving, it's a very simple thing. We won't change it. So that worked for her immediately. Anytime she had craving, all she had to do was the sequence that was given to her at that time. And I'd given her a few different sequences for a few different things, even for the craving. But this one seemed to be the most effective. really the most effective. Now she hasn't had that craving for sugar for quite a few years, and she had it
Okay.
all the
So what
time.
was the result? What was the result
The result
of
was she
was
lost
she,
so much weight,
was she
one thing.
overweight?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh
Uh,
yes, oh yes. She wasn't growing up, but I think becoming a wonderful chef and wanting to taste your wonderful creations and then having restaurants, yes, she did. But
so was she also
um,
getting some illnesses or?
she did have diabetes that she was diagnosed with, and a couple of other people in her family had it, so she was worried. But again, I did look at the foods. I didn't just do TFT. TFT helped very quickly in the short term, that if she's feeling the craving, just do this. We also did a few other things. Of course, I tested her for food allergies, toxins. I tested her for I didn't do soul clearing on her. She didn't ask, and I don't think there was a need for it either. She wanted to see quick response. And she got that with TFT and then the nutritions and testing few food intolerances, which she had. So,
Gotcha. All right.
and I did clear those intolerances, I must say, even if I didn't do the full soul clearing. But I clear food intolerances in people. I don't just put them on elimination rotation diet, as I'm trained as a kinesiologist to put people on that diet, that avoid this food for 90 days, and your body will forget it was ever intolerant to it or allergic to it. You've heard of that. So my aim is you don't have to go through that. You can get rid of any allergy in your body very quickly, blink of an eye. I've had it. I had intolerances to food, 4-page long lists of intolerances and severe sensitivities to certain foods, chemicals. And I don't have that now at all. I couldn't wear anything but gold. Ever since I was a child, I couldn't. It had to be only gold. Any other metal would just make my skin erupt. But one day when I was clearing myself, I just decided I'll add that. Blink of an eye, one afternoon, gone. So none of these things have to take that long. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just have to be aligned and focused. What I realized is, yeah, that's why I said I have never done soul clearing on uh, this. Mm, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well. Guess what? Our conscious hour is coming to an
Oh,
end.
time does
It's
fly.
the 5 minutes is gone. Um, so I'd like to share with the viewers uh, how they can work with you. Like anything that you would like to share, your website or websites, um, emails, or anything that you want to share, including Skype. That's up to you. This would be a good time to let them know how they can be in touch with you and maybe even work with you on some of these things. And I definitely heard you say several times that the good news is that none of these things have to take a long time. So
None of them.
I am no longer really a fan of therapy sessions that go on for 10 years.
And that was my intention. That was my intention when I started. Forget 10 years. Do you know, a few years ago, I used to guarantee my work. If you don't see a change in the first session, 50% for the issue you've come, even one of the issues, you may have come with 2, 3, 5 issues, even one of the issues, don't pay me. I used to be like that.
Uh,
But now I realize not everybody does it, but I've done so many of these. And yes, I like to see the change very, very, very quickly in people, very quickly. And I would tell them always, always very straightforwardly how much benefit they could have where they are with what they have. Um, I know some people cannot handle the brutal yeah, honesty. And I've had quite a few of those as well. Because people want me to wave a magic wand and treat so many things, some of them. They come from word of mouth as well, and they've heard of me, and they expect me to, okay, just create magic. And I've often seen, as much as I'd like to do that, is it in alignment with their soul at the time that they are, or they have little more journey to go through before the healing happens? Do you see what I mean?
Hmm. Right. Meaning
Um,
that they maybe not ready.
yes, but consciously they are. They are sitting in front of me or calling and telling me
Subconsciously,
to
they're
do
not
it.
ready.
Yes,
Yeah.
not at all. Subconsciously, not at all ready. Not at all.
And
Huge.
really, the way I'm understanding that is that conceptually we can have an understanding of all this stuff in our conscious mind, but if our programming in our subconscious mind is different,
Mm.
then who's going to win is the subconscious mind, because
Always.
we have a lot more of that than we have of the conscious mind. So
Absolutely. Always.
every time there is a choice to be made, the
Always.
subconscious will just go, hey, we're going to do it this way.
Yes, always.
Hmm.
And you asked me if I'd like to share my website. Well, I am on the TFT website of Dr. Callahan. People can find me there, and my own website is healempowerinspire.com. So I guess they can find me there.
Yep. Thank you. Well, this has been a very interesting hour. I must say that you are extremely unique, and as you know, I interviewed thousands of people before, and just like your clients, no guest is the same. But in terms of your uniqueness, you really stand out. You are very, very unique. You have a very interesting style of how you communicate and how you how you explain what you do and how you do it. It's been extremely interesting. I really would like to take you up on doing a soul clearing with me on the air.
Would you be quiet throughout the whole session? Because that is
If
what is
that's
needed.
if that's what you're requesting, I don't
Correct.
have a problem being quiet. No, not at all.
Completely quiet for the.
I can follow instructions just as well as I can give them.
So, when you said I have an interesting way of talking, I am myself always. And yes, no, I could never be a politician. Never, never.
Okay, that's fine. And forgive me that that was not meant for me in any negative way.
Oh, I didn't take it anyway. I know.
It's just it was like, I asked you there a question and you went around the block a couple of times.
You know what?
And
This
when
is.
you came back after going around it a couple of times, you still didn't answer my question.
You know what? I think it's not for not being evasive. I have that tendency. My grandfather used to say, Ramy, your stories are so long, and because I'm all the time is the wider picture. I had visions of my client thinking which therapy would be best for them, and so I was thinking, okay, what would this one say? And I'm just saying it long-winded. I know. Something I try to work at to make it a bit more concise.
Yeah, it's quite all right. All right, so you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for being you, and thank you for being on the network and sharing your expertise and also some of those incredible talents that you were born with. And those things are very important to me because I continue to explore things on this show um, where, especially things when and where it's not just about our five senses. I'm finding that I'm more and more drawn to um, doing things on the shows where, and this makes people very uncomfortable because, as you probably know very well, people can deal with smell, touch, seeing stuff, touching stuff, and then they'll say, okay, it's real. But I know of many other things that I've got involved in, just like you have, that are beyond our five senses, and they are also real.
They are more real than this five senses.
Yeah, they are more real. You're absolutely correct than
Every
five
time,
senses.
and ever since I was a
Yeah.
child, I've had so many out of body experiences, so many. When you see yourself from a ceiling of a room, I don't want to take much time here, but when you see, oh, that is your body. That this is the experience you're having. Yes, many times. It's similar to near-death experience, but I wouldn't say mine was near death, but it's similar. And that's what I learned. That, and then you see the bigger picture that, oh, there's wars going on in the place, and then you're boom right back in your body, right back, boom. And when you're observing the body, you have no feeling attached to it. You have nothing. And they always say you remember the first time it happens to you, anything consequential. So first time I remember as a child when that happened. After that, hundreds of times you don't pay that much attention to. But it's always that awareness of it's always stayed with me, always, always, and it still does. Five senses are needed for the learning experience, but the reality is the other 99%. This is 1%.
We are much more powerful than what our
Yes.
five senses can
This
detect.
five senses is
Technology.
not us. Five senses is a very temporary thing. Just like, when we look at our possessions or anything, and does that define us? Not at all. Not one single thing. Because that's temporary. You don't own any land, you don't own any money. It's not yours to own. You can enjoy it while you're in your five
It doesn't matter
senses.
how much stuff you got. You don't get to take any of it.
No, no, because if five senses were real, you'll be, enjoying that forever. But
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
So,
yeah. You've been fantastic. So thank you so much, and all of
my
our
pleasure.
viewers, if anything that we did here today touched, moved, and inspired you, please come back to consciousevolutionmedia.com and continue to watch all of our shows because you just never know what's going to happen. Like you know, Remy and I didn't know what's going to happen on this show either, and look at what happened. All kinds of things unfolded, and I feel we had a very, very interesting conversation today. So, and a dialogue. So, thank you so much again, Remy, and hopefully you will take me up on my offer of a soul clearing on live television. What a
On
concept!
live television,
And
which we cannot predict how long is because
yeah,
I
yeah, we
cannot
cannot
predict.
predict, and it doesn't matter. Okay.
I would have pin drop silence. That's what I'll need.
Yeah, that's
And I'll
fine.
be just saying things and clearing and
That's
going in that zone.
If
Saying,
that's what you
seeing,
request,
clearing.
that's what you'll get. It's completely okay. So you've been awesome. You're a lot of fun, and thank you so much again for being on the network. For everybody else, have a wonderful weekend. And next week is going to be Thanksgiving, so who knows what's going to happen next week? But people are starting to get into the holiday mood, and people start disappearing. So um, regardless, keep coming back to consciousevolutionmedia.com. Watch us on PBS, watch us on cable. We're starting to be everywhere. So thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and thank you, Ramy. You've been absolutely
Thank
fantastic.
you very much, Steve. It's an honor to be here, to be able to share, as I said, my knowledge and experience. So thank you. I
Yeah,
enjoyed speaking to you again. So,
thank you. Let's have a wild experience next.
okay,
Thank you.
we can see.